Good evening, folks. Matt Geib here with MLM Skills Anyone Can Master. And I thought for tonight I'd just tell you a brief story to illustrate a simple skill you can learn. So I'm just going to share with you a story. Back in about 1972, 73, 40 years ago, I went to my aunt's farm, Aunt and Uncle's farm in southern Ohio, to work on the farm for the summer, like I would do every summer since I was about 8 years old. Uh, my mom and dad used to send me down there for about 6 to 8 weeks of the summer to work on my aunt and uncle's small 40-acre farm because they thought it would teach me a work ethic, how to work. We'd be up at the crack of dawn milking cows, taking care of the chickens, slopping the pigs, baling hay, all those great things you do on a farm. If any of you have ever been on a farm and worked on a farm, it seems like from dusk until the sun goes down, your days are never done. It was a kind of experience that I'd never want to go through again, but I wouldn't trade it for anything because it did teach me a lot. It did teach me how to work. Well, in 72, 73, I think it was between my junior and senior years in high school, I went down there to work, and my uncle and aunt approached me because that summer was going to be their 35th wedding anniversary. And they felt that myself and my cousin, who was often there working with me, we were both teenagers by then, were old enough to take care of the farm for the 7 or 8 days that they were gone. And because they wanted to go into the big city and celebrate their anniversary. And Frank and I, my cousin, were ecstatic. We couldn't have been much happier. So they went on their trip, and lo and behold, we took care of the farm. You know, we even got to, by then I was even driving the tractor, and so was my cousin, and we were in seventh heaven, baling hay or whatever we did there. And we did all the chores, milking cows, and all those things you have to do on a farm. And every evening, way back in the woods, was a beautiful pond, and we would go back there because it would be light till 9:30 at night. We'd go back there and fish. We'd even bring our flashlights because we'd fish, and we would catch a lot of fish, bluegill, crappies, those kind of things, and we just lived on that fish. It tasted so good, trout. And then we got the bright idea. We were catching so many fish. The fish were hitting so good that those days that my aunt and uncle were gone, that I got this idea. And I said, Frank, we can take these fish back up to the house and we can have fresh fish. We don't have to come down here as much because we're catching so many. Because my aunt and uncle's house, built about 100 years previous to that, had a cistern system built into the foundation or along the foundation of the house, where it was used in years past to catch rainwater and things like that. Because they were short on water down there a lot of times in the summer. And they weren't using those cisterns anymore because my aunt and uncle had dug a well on the property. So I thought, they're not even using those cisterns. We can fill them up with water and put all our fish there and have all the fish we want to eat. And so that's what we did while we were working, and it worked beautifully. And then, my aunt and uncle returned, and my cousin and I, we returned doing the things we were doing, and things went back to normal. We had to work with our uncle and our aunt on the farm. And about 2 or 3 days later, there was just this awful stink that went through the house. And everybody wondered what it was, and then my uncle approached me and said, did you guys do anything in particular different while I was gone? And we told him the story. And I thought, he was a short man that was balding and with little glasses, and I thought his glasses would explode off his balding head. And he said, Matthew, how could you do that? Those cisterns haven't been used in years, and they're leaking. And now the water's leaked out, and the fish have begun to die and stink. And that was wasn't too funny then, but thinking back on it was so funny. And for years later, my aunt used to share that story, and it was kind of a fun story to tell at family gatherings. And she would say that stink didn't leave their house for about a year. And you know, how does that relate? That story, I relate it to network marketing this year, this way. And that is 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, our investments, my family's, my wife and my investments dropped like a rock. The money that we had invested in CDs and savings and different accounts and 401ks over the years, because of the economy crashing, we lost 30 to 35% on our savings. It was like a leaking cistern, like that leaking cistern in the story. But through my coming again to back to my passion of network marketing, I'm now beginning to build my retirement back up again, and I will eventually even have more money. So that is my story for tonight. And um, as Tom Big Al Schreider would say, to add to that, one good investment, one good investment is worth a lifetime of labor. That's the way I look at network marketing. You can work for 3 to 5 years and make money for a lifetime, I believe. So that's my story. Stories, being able to relate a story to what you're doing in your business is so important, and it's such a simple skill. I hope you've enjoyed my story tonight. Take care.